And we're live, I think. Probably. Should be. Alrighty. Now let's wait a little bit till people can actually see that we're starting. Oh yeah, it should be live. Do you see it?
I think so.
Okay. Alrighty, so I guess we're live. Probably people will need a bit more time, so I won't start drawing just yet. But welcome everyone to Saigami Project's channel. My name is Andrea Otilia Veros, aka Sunny. I'm the creator of the manga series Saigami, published and serialized in Saturday AM, the world's most diverse manga anthology. And yeah, this stream will be pretty much our usual. We have my helper, Peter, who's my fiancé, and he's also editor at Saturday AM and Saturday PM. So he will be reading your comments, and I will be drawing and answering your questions. So if you have any questions, comments, leave them in the comment section below, and I will start drawing soon. In the meantime, I have issue 101 of Saturday AM on display, featuring our newest series, Tender Loving Punch, on the cover. This is our first manga from the Middle East, created by Sama, who's a super talented female creator. So yeah, if you haven't read this issue yet, I can highly recommend it. It also has Soulbeat, Mutton Chop, and Saigami by yours truly. So it was a pretty cool issue in my opinion. We have cool new design and a bunch of interesting stuff. So check it out, links below, and you can find all of the important links and other infos in the video description, I think. So yeah.
Daisuke Uchiha and Lil Mango both say hello.
Hello guys.
Ricardo Duran, no way, I actually got a notification. Good job, YouTube, you didn't mess up like usual. Lol, hello.
Hey Ricky.
Yam, is there going to be a physical copy of this comic?
Tender Loving Punch? Yeah, sure. I mean, the plan is to collect all of our series into physical copies once they have that many chapters. Of course, Tender Loving Punch is just starting out, so it will be a little while until Sama-kan finishes up her first volume, but definitely this will be available as a book as well. Currently we have 7 books published at Saturday AM. The first 2 volumes of Apple Black and Saigami, Blue Eater, Z Forever, Mutton Chop, and we have some more on the way, like Spoon Volume 1 and Paradise Down Volume 1, and soon after Titan King Volume 1. So we have many more books coming, and as well as, you know, the 3rd volumes of both Apple Black and Saigami are supposed to come out this year. So there's a lot of things to draw and read. Okay, so I guess people are coming slowly, so I'm just gonna switch over to drawing, or more likely I will be... Actually, I think I opened up the wrong file, so give me a second here. So I will be coloring this artwork, which is a commission, but I actually already did the line art for this, but I just opened up the sketch. So I'm gonna open up the line art. Yeah, there we go. So here we have the line art. So once again, this is a commissioned image. The creator of this character design and the character is Savage Beer Arts on Instagram. So the character belongs to him. And yeah, I'm just drawing. So this is the original character, and this is the sketch. I'm closing this, it's just in the way, and yeah, here it is, my line art, and I'm gonna be coloring this artwork.
Daisuke Uchiha, I'm drawing Lady from Devil May Cry, and now I have something to listen to while I draw. Cool.
That's nice. And I have no idea about the character because I'm not familiar with Devil May Cry, but still.
Vince D, hey.
Hey. Okay, so the first part of the coloring won't be too spectacular or too impressive because I'm just putting down some base colors here and there, so please bear with me. Later on it will be more interesting when I actually start the shading and all the more interesting stuff. Where's my lasso fill? Ah, there it is. So yeah, talking about commissions, if you follow me on Instagram or follow the YouTube community page or Twitter or Facebook, so basically any of my social media, just this week I opened up my Gumroad store where I'm selling commissions, and right now as a super opening special deal, you can receive my commissions on a reduced price. So if you ever felt like commissioning me or want me to draw your characters, design your characters, then this might be your big chance. Subscribers of Saturday AM receive 50% off, so you can get my commissions on half price, or you can also get a discount if you follow Saturday AM and me on Instagram. Then you will receive, I think it was 10 or 20% off, I can't remember, but you can check my original post on Instagram. I posted it on the YouTube community page as well, Twitter, basically everywhere I'm on. So if you're interested, please don't hesitate to check it out.
Grimheim, hello, hello.
Hi there.
Grimu, hello.
Hello. Okay, where's the gap? I have a gap somewhere and I have no idea where. Oh, okay, I know. This is the tricky part. Finding all the gaps. Yay, made it! So like I said, I'm just filling in the base colors here. So basically what I do, I'm working in Clip Studio, and I first using the fill-in tool for the bigger areas, and then I'm using the lasso fill for the smaller gaps and areas. It's just a filling method that I just found out recently, so this is my new method, but it's faster than what I was using previously, so I'm actually really happy with it. Even though, once again, this is not the sexy part of drawing, but you know, if you ever worked on colored artworks, you know that this is the grinding you need to do.
Grimheim, this pose looks great. I cannot wait for the finished one.
Oh, thank you. I'm actually super happy how this turned out. I mean, the character design on its own is pretty cool. It's, you know, simple, but still, I really like it. So I had a blast working on this. I actually was super fast with the sketching as well. So yeah, it was pretty neat. Where am I? Okay, so she has black hair and I'm gonna add in some purple. So I'm just gonna go with slightly purplish black. I'm not using the original image's color scheme because it's a photo, so the colors look differently. And you know, normally when I'm drawing a commission or a fan art, I'm just using the color picker, the eyedropper tool to get my colors. But since it's a photo, it has different shades and color temperatures and stuff like that, so I can't really get accurate colors from the original picture. So now I have to come up with my own color palette for this character, which is not a bad thing because it's good practice. So yeah, this is a challenge.
Epic cake, heyo.
Yo, cake. Every time we're having these live streams, I'm getting hungry.
Epic cake, shoot, I can only stay for the net minute. Next minute, I'm sure.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, you know, one of the good things about live stream is that you can just finish watching them later. Of course, you know, you won't be able to interact with me, but still, you can still watch the whole drawing process. So, not everything is lost. But thank you for stopping by, even if it's just for a minute. Oops, what am I doing? Wrong color, wrong color!
I think you just got a donation.
Ooh, thank you! Who was it?
Savad Green, $2.
Thank you, Savad Green. It's much, much appreciated. I will make sure to put that $2 to a good usage. That's black. Blackish, probably, yeah. I'm just gonna go with this purplish black.
Savage Bear Arts, can't believe I get to watch this process. Thanks so much again. I get to enjoy this while working on a commission of my own.
That's awesome, and thank you very much for commissioning me. I'm having super fun with your characters, so please enjoy the show. Okay, since you're here, please give me a pointer. What color is the eyes of your character? Because I can't really see it on the reference picture, so please leave a comment with the eye color. That's a convenient way to work on commissions. I can get feedback live, so yay! Wrong color again. Okay, filling in the teeth. Basic sorties. Okay, so I basically have my base colors except for the eye colors for her. I'm waiting for that. Plus, I still will need to add the poisony, gassy effect. But that's something I want to add later. I first want to just focus on the basic shadows and the coloring, so that will be a secondary layer. So as you can see here, I basically have all of my colors on 3 different layers.
Savage Bear Arts, apologies, her eyes are a dark red.
Awesome, thank you. So I'm gonna go with the color of her t-shirt. Ooh, there we go, I like that. Neat. Okay, so like I said, we have 3 basic layers, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new layer here, and I'm gonna click to the layer below. And like this, I can make sure that no matter what I'm doing, I'm basically staying inside the previous layer. So for example, my first layer was the skin color. So now if I want to color over the skin, I'm on the wrong layer. This is not the best tutorial I ever did. So once again, I have this layer flipped to the skin layer. So now, no matter what I do, I'm gonna stay inside the skin. So this is a nifty trick. Alrighty, so I'm gonna start with her face because I actually always start with shading the face. That's probably just me, but I kind of like that. So it's a good starting point. Of course, here and there I still see some white spots, so before I jump to shading, I'm just gonna fill in these white spots. Once again, this is not the most exciting part of drawing, but you know, usually lies in the small details. So you know, if you're working digitally like this, always make sure to just zoom in and watch out for the small dots, because you know, they won't necessarily will be visible, especially if you zoom out or something, but still, you want the best for your artwork. So especially, you know, if it's something that you will print out or it will be a print later on in a bigger size, then the small white dots can really stand out, and that's something you want to avoid.
The Undead Mangaka, I really adore your line work.
Thank you. Doing line works is basically my favorite. To be honest, I'm not that much into coloring, so for me it's usually the line work that's the most entertaining part. Of course, you know, sometimes I do enjoy coloring, especially when I'm experimenting or I'm trying out new tools, and I can really get excited for new tools and techniques that I can now master. But at the same time, I'm just a line art person mostly. You know, one of the reasons I enjoy drawing manga over colored artworks is that there I can really focus on my line work, and I don't have to care about colors, which I'm usually not that good at. So yeah. Okay, I think I'm good with the white spots now. I'm gonna save. And so right now I'm gonna start working on her skin. And picking the base color, and I'm gonna go a bit darker, and I'm also changing the hue, I guess. I always mix these two, the hue and the saturation. But anyway, yeah, I'm going lower, and I'm going over in the color wheel as well to make sure that I have slightly more interesting colors. And I'm switching over to the watercolor tools.
Tadas Boykovas. Hey, I caught your live stream.
Hey, welcome to my live stream. It's nice to have you here.
Grimheim, what do you mean you're not good at coloring? Your coloring is amazing.
Thank you. You know, maybe it's just an artist thing, but I'm never really too happy about my coloring. It's just, yeah, it's. I'm trying to improve, and you know, I think I'm starting to find techniques that are suiting my style, but still, there's a lot more to improve. So I'm always experimenting with new stuff to make sure I can do things better, and yeah, it's.
Jordan Ben, have you seen any new anime, and how's Volume 3 going along?
Volume 3 is going along not too bad. I finished chapter 17. in issue 101 of Saturday AM. So that's the second chapter of the book. I'm planning to have around 8-ish chapters, so I'm like quarter of the way, so still a lot more to draw. But yeah, I'm gonna give my best. So the plan is to have the third volume out in probably late autumn, early winter. As for animes, I'm not watching that many shows right now. I still follow Fairy Tail. I'm watching The Promised Neverland, which is good. I still prefer the manga because the anime is making some changes and stuff like that, but still, it's so far a pretty good adaptation. And recently we started to watch Shield Hero. We're not caught up with the episodes just yet, but decided to give it a try, and it's not bad so far. It's not gonna be my favorite show, but at least it's interesting enough to make us watch it on longer term. So yeah, it's not bad. Oh yeah, and I'm still watching Run with the Wind from the previous season. I absolutely love that show. It's super underrated, but it is a really good show. And I'm a sucker for sports series, but Run with the Wind is a prime example that sports series aren't necessarily about the sports, but the character drama, and that's just so well done in that series that I just love it. So I was using the opaque watercolor. Now I'm gonna switch over to a transparent and do a little bit of smoothing here and there.
Gurimu, you should watch Radiant.
I actually did watch the first 3 episodes, or maybe even 4 episodes of Radiant, but I gotta be honest, I was not hooked on. I kind of was expecting a bit more. I read the first volume of Radiant, and the artwork is amazing. I really like the art style. The story, on the other hand, did not really hook me. I think there were a bunch of silly stuff in the story, which I hope that improves as the story goes on. So when I will get the chance, I probably will still read a bit more of it. But the anime just killed the whole series with the pacing for me. Like, it was just dragging. Of course, they made changes. Some of the changes I was okay with because they changed some parts that I found silly in the manga. But overall, I did not feel like it was a good adaptation.
Taras Boykovas, I can't believe how easily I've learned to draw abs. What was the easiest thing for you to learn?
Good question. I'm not really good with abs. I certainly have trouble with the muscles. Easiest thing, I would go probably with facial expressions. I kind of think, or like to think, that those are kind of my forte, that I'm good at capturing different emotions when it comes to my characters. So that was something I feel like I learned the easiest, and probably something I had earlier on, even when my drawing did suck a lot. I had no idea what I was doing. I still kind of could put emphasis on the feelings of the characters. But I always try to improve all of my art skills, like learning new techniques, learning new ways to draw things, and all the stuff. Since I never went to art school, there are some areas where I'm lacking. Like I never learned color theory or things like that. So there's always a lot to improve and learn. So I'm always trying to master these things.
the wacky Indian gamer, please make kaneki.
Yeah, I don't think I ever drew Tokyo Ghoul, so maybe in one of my future videos. It won't be my go-to choice though, because I was not into the series that much, so...
Jordan Ben, this is not a question, but I like watching YouTube artists like your channel and White Manga. You guys inspire me. What inspired you?
First of all, thank you. And I'm happy that you enjoyed the show. Well, a lot of things. You know, at first I really just wanted to tell my stories, draw, because I did enjoy drawing, putting my stories into paper. So yeah, I just took inspiration from the stories at first and wanted to share my stories in a format that's fitting for me. So that's how I started comics. As for YouTube videos, I was inspired by Mark Reilly and the Luna Project in the very, very old days. That was like now 10ish years ago. Yeah, like over 10 years ago, I think, in the old YouTube series. But yeah, even my username Saigami Project is actually coming from the Rona Project, because I was just super inspired by the Rona guys, and you know, they were a huge inspiration, not just with YouTube but the wall creation and aiming for publication. So yeah, I really looked up to them, and so was Mark really an inspiration. I mean, I still watch his videos, and you know, I'm still having fun with the videos he's creating. So yeah, for me, they were the biggest inspiration, YouTube wise.
Grimheim, is the Rona project still going to happen in any way? I heard that the artist sadly passed away years ago.
Yeah, they actually did publish the first volume a few months after Anthony passed away. They basically finished up the artwork by using artwork from his father and his brother. So they did release the book, but after that, it just stopped. The writer Ryan tried to get a new artist and start a different project, but Runa as a project had stopped completely. So sadly, they are not active anymore. Once smoothing the colors a little bit. So this is basically my first shadow layer for the skin. I will go over it a bit more as I go, because I want to bring in some more colors, some lights, some different colors, and of course, you know, for the hand I still will have to add the poison effect. Yeah, I always start just adding one base layer on top of the skin. So, anyone watching the Denter March Art Madness for Saturday AM? That will be pretty much your biggest event for this month, and it will be super exciting. We actually will reveal the entrance tonight, I think? Yeah, tonight. Yeah, today's the 8th. Yeah, so tonight. So, just interested if anyone here did enter. I actually seen part of the entries because, yeah, we were going through the entries with Frederick and Morgan, but I did not see all of the entries, so... But yeah, you know, the best thing about March Art Madness is that even if you're not taking part, it's still a super fun event. Like, I'm always just so thrilled about it because there are so many creative artworks every year, and you know, you can really see how these artists are moving out from their comfort zone. Like, there were so many times when I was thinking like, oh my god, I don't even know what I would draw for this theme, and the artists can come up with so good resolutions for even the toughest challenges.
Jordan Ben. I have been drawing graphic novels since 2014. I was 20 at the time, and I have been improving myself. Any advice?
I'll keep doing what you do, basically, because that's the gist of it. Just do it and keep improving. Of course, you know, look up every method you can to improve. Look up books, look up other tutorials. You know, nowadays you can find pretty much everything on the internet. So nothing can stop you from improving your skills. So always seek improvement and just keep pushing forward, because, you know, you can only do it if you're actually doing it. You know, if you want to send in your portfolio to a publisher, you will have to show something. You can't just go there that, hey, I have this best idea ever. No one will take you seriously if you're only an idea person. You actually need to have something in your portfolio that you can already show that, yeah, I did produce this.
The Undead Mangaka, this stream is a blessing from the gods. I've been looking for coloring tutorials for a while, but they've been very vague.
Well, I'm happy if I can help you. And you know, I usually just do like sketches and line art or drawing manga pages. So that's why I thought, maybe this would be interesting to actually show you how I color this artwork, because this is a pretty easy artwork to color, nothing too complex, so it's best to show the basics. And sure, you can see a bunch of speed drawings on YouTube, but the speed drawing is never the same as watching a real-time tutorial. Or I always felt like I need real-time tutorials in order to truly learn how it's done. Of course, you can get access to a bunch of real-time tutorials. Like, I supported a bunch of creators on Patreon in order to get real-time videos from them and tutorials. So that was one way to learn. And I actually do the same for my patrons, that I'm providing real-time videos along with the rewards on Patreon. So
Savage Bear Arts, I intended on entering, but I've been back and forth with having inspirations to draw, but I do look forward to seeing what everyone else will present.
Yeah, it will be interesting. We have some really, really strong contestants this year. So, and there's always, we always have like dark horses who we think that, yeah, they probably will last a few rounds, but then they surprise us and they just keep pushing, and it's just super, super interesting. Plus, this year we will have some very exciting rule changes, so it will be a thrilling experience for everyone. I can guarantee that.
Little Mango, as I listen and watch your live stream, I am trying to draw an interesting pose to improve and vary them.
Good luck.
Grimheim, I still love your Little Ayumi Needs to Be More Angry comic you did on your lives or Instagram. Is it hard for you to write Ayumi as a more energetic character?
I actually had a lot of fun with that. Yes, it is kind of hard. There were scenes in the manga where she was going all out, basically, as much as Ayumi can go all out. so we already seen her in action. But at the same time, she's not a high energy person. She's not really someone who will just shout or be super angry. She's more of a how do I phrase that? Someone who kind of buries her emotion, and that also includes, anger or being fierce or something like that. So yeah, it is hard, and yes, Frederick keeps telling me that just stop drawing her with doughy eyes. I want a fierce face. I want a battle ready Ayumi, and that's not necessarily her character. Of course, she will grow as a character, so eventually there will be scenes where she has to be like that. But apart from that, yeah, I'm kind of having a hard time drawing her like that. But at the same time, I don't want her to be like a moe character or something along those lines. So yeah, I understand very well what he's wanting me to do with that fierce attitude. But at the same time, I always keep the character development in the focus, because of course I can create doodles that are a bit out of character or something, but in the story I carefully built up the characters, and I know what they are like. I know what I'm planning to do with them. So if it's just not time for her to be fierce, then I'm sorry, Freddy. That small comic is all I can give you right now.
Ricardo, Duran, so far from the top 8 that are being revealed, all the artists are really good. It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree absolutely. Like,
Meki Armstrong, I'm about to start drawing my manga. What's some advice you would give?
It's always tricky to start, so before you just jump in, make sure you know what you want to do. So, I'm not saying that you need to plan out the whole story, but at least plan out your first chapter carefully. And usually it's best to start with a short story. I keep telling this to people, that you don't have to jump into a big story right off the bat, especially if it's your very, very first time creating a comic. Then just start with a short story, please. That's what we are doing with my interns right now. We are creating short stories. All of their ideas are something that can work on long term. Heck, some of their stories are actually stories that will probably be better as a series. But still, the main point at first is to get actual experience and to just try yourself out. So at first, just try to create a pilot chapter, and if you want, that can still become your first chapter on long term. But just focus on actually finishing up something. Small steps first. First start with your storyboards, then start with the pages. Just finish up a first chapter before you jump into something that you can't finish, and you might end up burnt out.
Grimheim, it's International Women's Day, by the way.
All right. So all of the ladies, congrats. Thank you. You're appreciated. You rockers. Actually, yeah. Today is Women's Day, and you know what we do in Hungary? I always receive chocolate on Women's Day. So shame on you, Canadians. Because I did not receive chocolate today. And
instead, you are receiving free room and board.
Yeah, I have good internet now. Yeah, you can't see it, but I'm actually at home right now because, yeah, I got good internet. So yeah, it's just, it was always cool because, I was working at the hotel where pretty much all of my coworkers were male, so I always received a bunch of chocolate. So by the end of March, I usually gained a few pounds.
Zaif Illustrations. Hello, I made it.
Yay! Hey, Zaif.
No Brega. So I'm drawing for 1 year straight. I didn't stop for 1 year and I'm still going. But I still don't feel that I'm close to my favorite mangaka, Yusuke Murata. But I definitely improved, so any tip?
But first of all, I don't think anyone can get close to Yusuke Murata just as easily. Like, even in the Japanese manga sphere, he's outstanding and crazy. So your bar is super high there. So don't get encouraged or discouraged just because you're not on his level yet, because there are professional mangaka who are not on his level and probably will never be on his level. So just keep doing it, and if you've already been doing it for a year, then do it for 2 years, do it for 3 years. This is something you can only do when you just keep doing it. You will get better and better and better. All of our creators in Saturday AM have been doing comics for years now, and that's the key. You just need to do and work on it.
Kwanzeg25, I love your content and I'm happy I ran into you a few years back. I'm currently sketching out my panels for my dark fantasy series. It's for my first anime con in August. I don't expect recognition.
Well, first of all, good luck. And the first publication is always hard. When I first was published in Hungary, it was a short story. It was 24 pages. The printing quality was a mess because I had a moire problem with the screen tones. And there weren't a lot of books. We only printed 200 copies because the publisher told me that 200 is is actually a pretty good number for a newbie like I was. And my first convention, I didn't even sell half of them. I think I sold like 50 some volumes. So the first always is hard. It won't be perfect, but if you go in with realistic expectations, then that's at least a step forward. So no one starts out as a hot seller at first, because you need to build up an audience. You need to hone your skills, do better, and the first publication is always tricky because you might not necessarily be comfortable with the printing, you might not know some tricks that later on might help you with the quality and things like that. So just do it. Just cherish the experience. Learn from the possible mistake. Think about what you can do, and if you're at the convention, talk to people. Ask them, what do you like, what you don't like. Just communicate, because you can get many great advice from people who are actually looking at your products as a customer.
Grimheim, Ayumi is a very timid girl, but not weak or passive in any way. This is what I appreciate about her.
Well, thank you. I guess I'm doing my job right, because that was my goal with her. So yeah.
Ro. I don't know how else to really say it.
Roro. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, Roro.
Yam, I can't comment on PlayStation 4, so I guess I'll comment on my phone.
Oh, okay, you can watch YouTube on PlayStation 4.
I could probably watch YouTube on the Switch and the Xbox.
Oh, okay, I did not know that. That's actually cool.
Zaif illustrations, with Naruto and Inuyasha being long-ended, what current mangas do you read to get motivation and inspired?
Well, I'm reading a bunch of Shonen Jump series. I read Hero Academia, Haikyuu, One Piece. What else is running? Food Wars. I'm still flipping through Black Clover because of reasons. I'm reading the new series Jump has. I'm also reading Fairy Tail and all of the spin-offs Fairy Tail has right now. Eden Zero, Attack on Titan, a few shoujo series. And yeah, recently I actually started to reread the big shonen series. Like I started reading Bleach, Naruto. I reread Bakuman. So I always try to read a lot of manga. I don't read manga every day, sadly, but there are just days when I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna dedicate 1 hour to just binge read something. And the most important part is that I'm not just reading mindlessly. I'm always looking at inspiration and ways to improve myself. I'm observing the paneling techniques, the composition, various effects the mangaka use. So it's like a learning curve, not just entertainment.
Grimheim, a few years back, Saturday AM did a women group. I think you were a part of it as well. Do you think it will come back at any point?
Actually, that's a really good question. Because yeah, I remember that group. I might have been in charge of it. I only have vague memories because we did so many things. But yeah, we really would like to bring on more female creators. So yeah, at the moment, we're fully focusing on March Art Madness and the plans we have for retails and other stuff. So I can't say anything for certain at the moment, but we surely have big plans for female creators and female audiences. So yeah, just look it out, because yeah, we want to do more content and more interaction with female creators.
Specular Chip 180, hi.
Hey.
Roro, what is the most difficult part of the drawing process for you when you are drawing your manga pages?
Well, creating pages, the hardest is actually the storyboard. My interns already know the struggle with that. But just planning the page layout, choosing the right shots and angles and panels is very hard. So usually the storyboards take the most time for me, and I dedicate the most time on them. When it comes to actually drawing the pages, that's more just like time consuming. Of course, when I have to draw a very complex background, that's time consuming and that's difficult. But at the same time, I try to enjoy things. So, I really enjoy doing the line work. I enjoy doing the backgrounds. The thing I don't enjoy is when the backgrounds are boring. For example, in the current chapters of Saigami, I've been sick of just drawing the hallways because sadly the story right now takes place inside the building, and I did not want to do a flashy interior design because I also have to take into consideration that I am working with deadlines, so it's not like I can have statues in every hallway or something like that uh, to make things a bit more interesting. But at the same time, in the last two chapters, the background's been kind of boring, so I just can't wait to finally switch locations in chapter 18, and that will be a super interesting background. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, I would say that's the hardest part when it's something that I don't necessarily enjoy drawing, but I know it's crucial and necessary for the manga. Because that's how it is when you're drawing comics. You won't enjoy everything. You will enjoy the work overall, but there will be some steps that you just won't enjoy.
Kwanzeg25, thank you for the advice. I'll keep going.
Yeah, good luck.
Unknown, how far have you thought through your manga? Do you know the ending, or do you have to keep altering it as you go along with each new chapter or idea? If so, how different is it to your first concept of the end?
That's actually a fun question because earlier today we just had a big, I guess I can call it a meeting, where we were discussing where the story is going, what are the plans for the ending. So yes, I had the main points in the story for a very, very long time. Some things are not changing, but at the same time, I did change a lot of things as I went on with the story. So I would say that many of the elements are something that I just came up as I was drawing the chapters. It did change a lot. I about the ending, it's kind of hard to talk about it because I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, I had a different plan at first. Now that plan is still somewhat part of the actual ending, but the it's a hard word. Circumstances will be a little bit different. But yeah, if I compare the very first version of Saigami to today's Saigami, is just kind of ridiculous. Like, heck, in the very first version, Reggie was actually a werewolf. Like, come on, that's just. And that was before Twilight, so I want you to know that I was not inspired by Twilight or any of that bullshit. So, but yeah, I always like werewolves and stuff like that. So yeah, the very first version of Saigami was very, very, very different. So many things changed, and I still keep changing things. I had different plans for the initiation arc as well. I had a different outcome for Carly's exam, for example. But as I plan the story, I always have to question myself: why is this happening? Why is this important to the story? How is this moving forward, the characters or the story? Is this really necessary? I'm always questioning that I'm doing the right choice here. And that's not that I'm questioning myself. These questions are necessary for the story. Because, there were elements that at first I thought were good, but then I realized that no, it's just bad writing because I'm only including them for the shock factor. I'm only including them because I just want a quick reaction, but that's necessarily the best thing on long term for the story. So yeah, I think things keep changing.
Zaif illustrations, with work and such little time, how do you plan your schedule for storytelling, drawing, inking, etc.?
Well, I'm not the best when it comes to time management. but recently I've been making progress. I watched a bunch of tutorials on proper time management and things like that, so I'm using that knowledge I just recently gained. Basically every night I'm planning the next day before I go to bed. Because I already know what meetings I will have that day, so I'm just breaking up how much time I have between meetings or tasks I know I need to do. So I can plan things out a bit better. That if I see that I only will have like an hour between two meetings, then I know that I won't start working on a big project. But maybe I will just focus on storyboards for the next arc. If I know that I have more time, then I will be working on something more time consuming. So yeah, it's things like that. I'm trying to make sure that I dedicate time for everything as much as possible, and trying to make a good use of my time.
Grimheim, that sounds amazing. I can't wait to see what you've got in store regarding the female artists and audience.
Yeah, that will be interesting.
No Brega, first, thank you for answering my question, but you made me think a little. Do you think that what makes a mangaka, or what do you think, oh my god, what do you think makes a mangaka a good mangaka? The way that he does every panel or his style of drawing?
I think a good mangaka is someone who can keep the readers on long term. Because there are so many talented mangaka who can create good art, but good art is not enough. We've seen it so many times with new series that the artwork is stunning, it's super impressive, good character designs, a good sense for paneling, but if the story is not there, then it's all in vain. Heck, I have artists that I really like and look up to, but the story just wasn't that good, so now the series was cancelled. So overall, I think it all lies in the story and actually in the entertainment and the business, because in the end, manga, even though it's a form of art, it is an entertainment business form. So you can't just think about it as it's your personal art project or something. If you want to reach out for higher audience or bigger audiences, because you will have to make sure that you do entertain your readers, you give them something to come back for every week or every month or however many times it is released. So it all comes down to the story, and the presentation of the story is important, yes, but it's only secondary in my opinion.
Ali, hello, I finally caught a live stream. Can I have some advice? I really struggle with the whole blank page overwhelming me thing. I have a difficult time picturing the final piece. Any tips?
Just start it. I mean, I know that feeling very well when you're just sitting in front of the blank page and you just are afraid to start because you don't want to make mistakes. Well, pick that first page, pick up your pen, and just ruin that page, like literally. Just start to doodle anything that comes to your mind. Just start drawing. Just get that stressful feeling out of the way that the paper overwhelms you. It's just a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be perfect at first. You might think that that pro artists get it perfect the first time. No one does. Like, it will be a struggle. You will make corrections. Everyone will make mistakes and corrections. So forget chasing the perfect. Just start doing it, because even imperfection is better than nothing. So the only way to actually get that stress out of the way is to learn that you just need to do it, and you will get there. Maybe you will have to redraw something multiple times, but with each redrawing you will improve. So just keep pushing and just let go of that fear, because that's something that doesn't matter in the end. No one will ask you, oh, how many times did you mess up, if they see your finished artwork. Just do it. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Savage Bear Arts, there's still so much I have to learn about Clip Studio, but seeing you use these brushes makes me want to try them out. I do want to figure out how you've been using the shadow layers.
First, Script Studio is something I can highly recommend. Basically, I'm just using normal layers, so I'm not using multiply. I could, but then my picture would be pretty dark, for example. See, if I'm switching the hair to multiply, then it's basically completely black. The same with the clothing. If I change shading in her clothing, it's super dark now. So I'm just keeping it normal. So basically, I'm just it's all come down to color selection, and I'm mixing in different colors. So for example, in her shirt, you can see I mixed in blues, purples, a darker shade of red, and all in one layer, because the watercolor brushes I'm using here are really good when it comes to blending the different colors, so that creates a really interesting effect in my opinion. So that's what I'm using. There were actually some pictures that I colored only on one layer in order to get a more enhanced feeling of this color mixing. So that's something you can experiment with. And you know, there are many times when I'm just going through all of the layer settings to see what would look best. Because you know, I'm not exactly knowing what I'm doing, but I can always just experiment with things. So I'm on the wrong layer. So yeah, it all comes down to just practice, experiment, don't be afraid to try out new things. Because that's what I did. Like, you know, I started using Clip Studio. At first I didn't really know what to do. I watched a bunch of tutorials, I looked up live drawings and things like that, learn new tricks and stuff from people, and I tried to create my own method, because you know, in the end you will create your own method. It doesn't matter who you're learning from. There will be things that you will do differently, because that's basically how your own style works. Oh my goodness, what's this? What's this? What layer is that on? Damn it.
Unknown. An example of an entertaining mangaka is one from Mob Psycho 100, if he is even a mangaka.
He is. I mean, you know, he's not the best mangaka, that's for sure, because his art style is it is what it is. But you know, he knows how to entertain his audience even with a not so polished art skill. I never read Mob Psycho, so I can't tell anything about that. I haven't even watched the anime. I know it's very good, everyone keeps recommending it. I just did not get into it. But yeah, you know, yeah. I kind of lost my train of thoughts here.
Mackie Armstrong, thank you for answering my question. I would like to also know, should plan the major arcs in advance, fill in the details as I go along? If not, is?
Well, yeah, you will need the major details, because at least you need to know where your story is heading. You don't need to have all of the details. Heck, I don't have all of the details for upcoming chapters. You know, I have the major plot lines, but still there are some parts that will form as I go. But yeah, you will have to have a generic idea, like what's the message of your story, what's your goal with the story, because if you don't have that, it kind of will become pointless, and it will just make writing harder for you.
Matthew Lombard, hi, I love mood of these lives. Thanks for taking time to do this. I started storyboarding my story and I'm so slow. Do you know tips to get better, faster to panel, or is experience the only way?
Well, first of all, I'm happy that you enjoy this, and yeah, I'm really enjoying this stream myself, and you know, it's easier on me as well, because I can focus on my art, I can talk to you guys, and still make progress. So the plan is actually to transition this channel more into a live streaming channel, but focusing on tutorials as well. So for storyboards, what my method is, and the method I'm actually teaching to my comic artist interns, is to break down each step. So basically, when I'm first creating my storyboards, I'm not actually creating storyboards. I just scribble down the important moments of the scenes that I have in mind. So I know which frames I want to use in order to tell my story. And my next step is, after I have these moments, I'm creating thumbnails, which are just rough sketches of pages. And on these very rough thumbnails, I can play around with the panel layouts, I can play around with some compositions, but at the same time, I'm not dedicating time on actually polished artworks. Um, and you know that can make things way faster because it's just easier to make. Oopsie. Okay, we'll fix that later. You know, I don't have to redraw complete artworks or facial expressions in order to make changes. So that just makes things easier for me. And later on, when I feel like I'm good enough with my thumbnails and the page layouts are looking good, then I can create a polished storyboard where I draw in more details about the expressions, where I mark the placement of the speech bubbles, where I mark sound effects and things like that. So for me, it all comes down to breaking up the big work into smaller steps, because storyboards are overwhelming. You need to make so many decisions, so many choices to make, that is just hard and overwhelming when you're doing it in one step. It's easier to focus on smaller tasks each time.
Patrick Brewster, hello. Nobody typing. People have been typing. It's an old comment.
Oh, okay.
OGI list, hey.
Hello.
It's Maurice. How do you compose panels and decide why to choose certain camera angles or panels, etc.? How to grow an artist Instagram page fast?
Well, first tackling the Instagram, I don't know. I'm not a fast growing artist on Instagram. And honestly, at the same time, I'm not concerned about numbers, because in the end, numbers are just numbers. I don't want big numbers. I want my followers to be interested in my works. Because you can have tens of thousands of followers if they are not really interested in your stuff. Because a like is free, a following is for free. But your true fans will be the ones who are actually supporting you. So don't get distracted about numbers, because it's not the quantity, it's the quality of the followers you have. As for the storyboarding, you know, there are some rules that can help you with that. You know, it's a complete lesson on its own, so I won't be able to teach you here and now everything. I'm actually planning to do a storyboarding live stream where I will be teaching this, because I can't make that into a short video. Actually, it has to be something that's long, because storyboarding is long, and you know, but there are some basic rules that you can learn, that, you know, certain camera angles will give you certain effects. Like, for example, if you're using an upper shot that makes your character look bigger and bolder, that's something you can use to convey the feeling that that character is important, that the character has the upper hand. At the same time, if you're using an upper shot where we're looking down on the character, that will enhance the feeling that the character is insignificant, the character is weak, the character is someone who's not having the upper hand in a conversation or in a situation. So these are tricks, and not just for comics. You see these in movies. So you know, it is always a good thing to actually study movies as well, because cinematography is something that you will use and kind of need when you're making comics. So that's something I can absolutely recommend to learn and study.
OGI list, hashtags at Maurice, at its_Maurice. Yam, do you ever daydream about your manga becoming a fully fledged popular anime?
To be honest, I never was that much into anime. My main goal was always focusing on manga and having my books out instead of having an anime. Of course, you know, there are times when I'm like, oh yeah, this would be cool, or I hear my favorite voice actors and I imagine that that voice actor would be someone who I would pick to the voice of Ayumi or to the voice of Sean or Reggie. So yeah, daydreams like that, sure, yeah, I do. There are times when I'm like hearing a good song and I'm like, yeah, this could be such a good AMV for Saigami. But overall, I'm not obsessed with anime because my main goal is to create books.
Matthew Lombit, I'm definitely watching that storyboarding live stream. Meki Armstrong, how many pages do you draw a day to meet your deadline?
It depends. Usually, I'm right now receiving a very, very nasty glare. So I usually am not good with time management. I'm not good with my deadlines, and it's a question that's kind of hard to answer when I'm receiving such a nasty glare. But I know that I can finish 3 pages most a day. Like, my record's been 4 or 5 pages a day, but that was without any sleep, without anything, skipping eating, skipping sleep, skipping showers, everything. So that's something that's just not too healthy. So I'm not doing that anymore. Plus, if I'm rushing with those pages, then it would affect the quality as well. So currently, my top will be 3, but the 3 pages will be once again without sleep, without doing anything else. So usually I would say it's 2 pages a day, and that still allows me time to eat, to make sure I'm not breaking my health over it, because that's something I learned that I need to pay attention for my health. I'm getting old as well, so I need my sleep. I just can't pull all-nighters like I used to when I was 20. So yeah, but usually I break up my work methods. So instead of focusing on finishing a page a day, I dedicate a day to sketch up all of my pages. I dedicate the next day to ink 2 pages. The third day I'm dedicating to finish up those 2 pages. So I'm trying to create a workflow that works best instead of focusing just 1 page at a time. But it also highly depends on deadlines and moods. So yeah.
Matthew Lombit, who's that character? Is she from Saigami?
No, this character is I can't remember her name, so I'm sorry about that. But she belongs to Savage Bear Arts, and what I'm drawing is a commission, because right now I have reduced price commissions through my Gumroad store, so this will be a commissioned artwork. But yeah, I really like this character design, so so once we create a design like this in Saigami, because yeah, I really love her hair, so yeah, it's a pretty neat design. One of the parts I enjoy in commissions is that I got to work on different character types, different designs, and sometimes I work on designs that I won't necessarily come up with by myself. So it's always a good learning curve, and that I can get inspiration like this. So that's something I enjoy a lot. Okay, so right now I will jump back to this printer and we'll bring in some dark purples.
Matthew Lombit, are you coloring on Photoshop?
No, this is Clip Studio Pro. Clip Studio Paint Pro, yeah.
Savage Bear Arts, Instagram's current algorithm makes it a bit difficult to be seen, but I've mainly been working to make content I like, and hopefully others will too. Her name is Malevolence.
Yes, that's the name. I remember that it was something starting with an M, and I couldn't help but remember Maleficent, but I knew that it's not Maleficent, but something along those lines. So Thank you.
Unknown. Where's Ayumi's name from?
uh, Japan. You know, I picked the name Ayumi because of the meaning, which means walking. Because I wanted it to symbolize that she will move forward. You know, one of the message of the story is that you just need to keep moving forward, and eventually you will reach a goal, even though you don't know what the goal is just yet. So I thought that it's a name that fits well with that message. So yeah, her family name is actually from her mother. So it's a Japanese name, even though Ayumi is only half. That's why she doesn't really look anything like Japanese, but that will be something we explore in the story later on. So yeah, it's a tricky question, but you will see when we reach that part in the story. What's going on with the names and ethnicity and things like that. So
It's Maurice. Are you a judge for this year's March Art Madness?
yes, I am. I actually took part in choosing the entries. So I did not see everyone's entry, but I've seen all of the entries that I know will be in the tournament. And yes, I will be one of the judges. Once again, we will have teams, and we will have Team Saigami. and yeah, I will take part.
OGI list. Okay, so I'm currently working on my own manga. I've been typing a lot of stuff. How do I build a map too? Like, how much detail do I need to go in terms of countries, to states, to cities?
It depends on what your story needs. I mean, is it a traveling story? Does it matter what the countries look like, what the states look like? You know, it's a common thing that people demand for maps for fantasy stories, but at the same time, if your story just takes place in one place, then you don't necessarily need a map. Of course, if it's an important part of the story, then yes, you need a map, but at the same time, you don't need to overgo with details, because that's just something that's an interesting factor in the story, but at the same time, you don't necessarily want to get lost in the details. Because, you know, even if you have a map, your readers won't be looking at your map all of the times. So just focus on actually conveying the feeling of the place and the different countries and locations through your comics, and not just through a map.
Little Mango, do you have any tips to overcome having so many story ideas at once? I have many ideas forming from time to time. The one I'm most ambitious about I'm not ready for yet because it's a huge project.
Well, then don't start with that. I would recommend you pick the story that's the shortest and just start with that, because like I mentioned earlier, just start with a short story. You don't need to jump in complex stories right off the bat. So just actually execute an actual story, and using the experience you have from that, you can then later take on your longer stories that you're more excited for. You know, my first short story was something I was not excited for. It was a story, sure. It never was a story dear to me. It never was a project I overly did enjoy, but it was still my first work that got me published, it got me started. So always keep that in mind, that you just need to get the experience at first.
Unknown, hope I didn't dig too far into the mysteries of Saigami. Little Mango, I feel your pain.
No, I wouldn't say you did. I mean, you know, if it's something too spoilery, I won't talk about it, I guess. But yeah, you know, there are questions, there are mysteries, and there are stuff that we will only figure out as we go with the story. So yeah. I'm not sure where I'm going with this right now. But you know, you will see once we get there in the story. I'm trying to render her lips a bit more. Somewhat tricky thing, but I'm trying my best. And use the blend tool. I usually don't like to use the blend tool, but there are some areas where it just works. And auto saving. Going a bit with the dense watercolor tool to define some edges a bit more. This is actually a technique I only started to use recently, so it's still in a bit more experimental phase, but yeah, so far I think I like it, so it's something I want to use a bit more in the future. Here. And it's like I keep talking to myself. Talk to me! Talk to me!
OGI list, how many characters would you say I need to start off with?
It depends on your story. You don't need a bunch of characters at first. Heck, I would recommend to just keep it to a very low number of characters at first. Because the more characters you have, the harder it is to write. Plus, you have to think about your readers, that you can't just overwhelm them with a bunch of characters at first. Because, you know, at first when you're reading, you won't have any idea about the characters. And, you know, as long as you don't know the characters, you can't really care about them. So I would recommend to focus on just the very few characters at first. You know, your main character, maybe your main antagonist, a sidekick character, or a love interest, but just keep the number low. At first, start out with just the very necessary character. I mean, just think about the big shonen series, for example. One Piece only started out with Luffy in the first chapter. Basically, we got to know Shanks as well, but Luffy and Shanks are the main focus. And of course, you know, they had a bunch of characters like Shanks' crew and things like that, but it was only Luffy and Shanks who were important. The same with Naruto. We only had Naruto and the Iruka in the main focus. Of course, you know, we got to know the Hokage, we got to know Mizuki, who was the antagonist of the first chapter, but the main focus was on Naruto and his struggle, and Iruka as a father symbol for him. The same with Bleach. The first chapter only introduced Ichigo's family, Ichigo and Rukia, and that was it basically. Of course, you know, we've seen some classmates in the first chapter, I think. Yeah, but you know, they were not important. No.
No. There's the scene with the ghost girl, and then he goes home.
True, that was already in the second chapter. So yeah, in the first chapter, it's only Ichigo's family and Rukia. So yeah, just think about those and keep it to the bare minimum in the first chapter, and use the next chapter to expand your characters.
Unknown. After Saigami, do you have anything else planned? New manga?
Oh yeah, I actually have a bunch of ideas. I want to work on. I really want to work on Dreamwalker, which was a short story of mine. You can read it at Saturday AM homepage. If you go to my Saigami homepage, there's a link if you're interested. So that's something I really want to work on as a series. Of course, you know, the one shot was a one shot. So if I'm reworking it into a series, it will have a bunch of changes. But I really want to work on that project. I have a sports story idea I really want to work on in the future. And I have some other ideas that I don't have fleshed out, but you know, I have a basic idea or you know, a few character sketches and things like that. So yeah, many other stories that I would be very interested to work on.
Roro, in your opinion, what makes a great composition for a manga page or a double page?
Honestly, it completely depends on the situation, because you know, some shots will be the most impressive if it's just a single panel spread out on 2 pages, especially if you're enhancing a location or introducing something really impressive. But you know, some double pages just work the best with multiple panels. For example, I just love what Haikyuu does with the double pages, because it is always multiple panels on a double page spread, but the panels have such a great composition that it helps the flow, it enhances the motion, what's happening in that panel. Even the sound effects are enhancing the whole impact. So Haikyuu, I think, uses double pages just in genius way. But you know, it will always depend on the situation, on what you're trying to present, because introducing a location is completely different than showing a fight scene on a double page, because you're aiming for a different effect, a different reaction from the readers. So it highly depends on the situations. The best I can recommend is basically to study manga. Like, look up popular series, look up how they are using double spreads. Yusuke Murata has crazy double spreads. For example, I highly recommend Haikyuu. But yeah, just look up any manga you can and study their double pages, especially if they are artists you like, because chances are they are your inspiration, and you can learn a lot from your inspirations.
Mackie Armstrong, thank you for your advice. You are very inspiring. I'm starting my first chapter today, and I'm really excited.
Good luck. I'm rooting for you.
Zayef Illustrations, if it's not too much trouble, we'll appreciate a tutorial on how you paint backgrounds.
Oh yeah. I don't often paint backgrounds. I mean, I do color illustrations where I have backgrounds. I tend to focus on black and white backgrounds, but you know, with my plan that I will be doing more streams, I actually can be working on painting backgrounds, so that could be something I can show to you, and it could be an interesting tutorial. It will be a longest tutorial, so be prepared for that. Because you know, these things are just never quick. Like heck, even this artwork is just a simple character shot, but I already been coloring it for an hour and a half. So you know, it's not something that just happens.
Little Mango, thank you for answering my question. I really appreciate it. Advice from a professional like you is great. Most of my ideas are one-shots coincidentally. Lol.
That's great, actually. And you know, I always appreciate the thought that, you know, people are thinking about short stories, because pretty much everyone wants to just create a long story. Everyone is thinking about series because naturally we are inspired by long stories. That's what we see. Shonen Jump, Attack on Titan, Fairy Tail, you name it, all of the long series. So it is actually very rare to see people who are wanting to do short stories. But yeah, that's something I can absolutely recommend. Just start out with your short stories.
Luna Wolf, do you think you need to have a main character for a manga? One of mine has no real main character.
Well, if it's a group of main character, that's fine if that's what you mean. Because, you know, you don't necessarily need to have a single hero standing above the others. There are stories where we have dual protagonists, or it's about a group of people and they are equal. So in a manner of that, you don't necessarily need just one hero standing on top of the others. So yeah, you can absolutely create something like that. Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
That's a very good example. Yeah, Game of Thrones. Yeah, well, yeah. No, I'm just thinking that, you know, yeah. Because Because you might think that maybe Jon Snow or Tyrion or Daenerys, but no, yeah. Okay, I'm just rambling here, so so yes, you can have a story where there's no main character.
Zayef Illustrations, what's your current income stream?
Let's just say that if I did not have Peter to support me, I would be screwed. It's the sad reality that if you're a manga artist starting out and you're not with a huge company like Marvel or Shonen Jump and things like that, it's very likely that you won't be able to make a living solely on drawing. All of our creators have jobs or school next to drawing manga, so it's a sad fact that even though, yes, I'm making money on drawing manga or drawing commissions and things like that, it's not enough to support myself on my own, so please subscribe. And I have commissions on reduced price, wink wink nudge nudge.
Unknown. I had an idea with the same title, Dreamwalker, a few years ago when I was small, which used similar dreamlike ideas, but the overall concept was different.
Yeah, I think that's a title that is not too unique. Everyone can think of that. Actually, I think I read another manga. I think it was published by the Silent Manga Editions guys. It was Dreamwalkers, though. I think it had an S at the end, or maybe it was just Dreamwalker. But yeah, it had, you know, the story was completely different from mine. But yeah, it still was the same title, so that was interesting. But yeah, that is one thing I definitely will change when I get to this series. Because I'm pretty sure I will change the title to Night Crusaders, because that was also an important part of the story, so plus that's a little bit more unique. I never met with a Night Crusader story idea or story title, so...
Torian Clayton, hey Sunny, how are you?
Sunny?
That's what he wrote. Or she.
Well, I'm good. It's Sunny. With an E instead of the U. I know everyone is always mixing it up, so I'm kind of used to it now, but yeah.
Luna Wolf. Yeah, the characters are on a team of sorts. Thank you, I appreciate the advice.
My pleasure.
OGI list, how can I come up with the title?
Just think about what fits your story. Is it a name of a character, like Naruto? Is it a location or institution in the story, like, you know, My Hero Academia, it's about the academia, or giving you the vibe? Is it a group of people that you name your story after, like in my case, the Dreamwalkers or Saigami? Is it something that's important for your story, like Apple Black, where we know that Apple Black is something that grants the powers? Or is it just a complete asshole like Bleach, which had basically nothing to do with the story as it is, but if you think about what Bleach does, then yes, it makes sense in order of the story, because they were purifying the souls.
Well, I remember right. I read something where Tite was saying that he was wanting to call the series White at one point because ghosts are white, the hollows have white masks, the Soul Reapers have white underneath their uniform.
And they dress up the Japanese funeral ceremonies in white.
But he felt that white was too common of a name or something like that, or too bland, so he decided to name it after Bleach.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, basically anything can become your title. Just scribble down story ideas. What fits your story? What can give the vibe of your story? And think of something that is memorable, something that's searchable, which is a good advice marketing-wise, because if you name your story White, no one will receive any results if you just type in White. So yeah, it isn't easy.
Unknown. I also found your one-shot around the same time as I was looking up other mangas with the same name.
Cool.
Zaif Illustrations, what would you consider to be the peak of your career?
The peak of my career I did not reach yet. The peak of my career will be when I will be making enough money in order to pay my bills and support myself, support my family just by manga alone. The peak of my career will be that Saigami is more popular, more well known around the globe. Probably finishing the story even would be a peak. So yeah, there will be a lot of peaks, but I'm not there yet.
Savage Bear Arts. I have a short story idea. It's in the same universe as my main project, and it tells the story of a different character. Should I start with that or keep working with the main project?
Maybe come again.
He's got two stories.
Yeah.
They're set on the same world.
Yeah.
He wants to know which one to start with.
The shorter one. Even if they are connected, just start with the less ambitious project, because like I mentioned, your first goal is to actually deliver a story, and I shall be able to finish it up.
Grimheim, can you give some advice regarding good pacing in your stories? Do you sometimes have the feeling that a scene is too long or too short?
Oh yeah, a bunch of times. Well, it kind of depends on what kind of story we're talking about, because if it's more of an action story, then that can justify a faster pacing. But if you have a slice of life or something that's more about the character arcs, then the slower pacing can be justified by that we only need to focus on the characters. It also depends on scene by scene, because I know that I myself like to take a slower pacing when it comes to scenes that's just about the characters, their emotion, their bonds building up. And with action scenes, I kind of like to take it a faster pace, because I kind of want to get over them. Because even though yes, Saigami is a shonen manga, it has action scenes. Action is never the main focus in the story. So yeah, it's a hard thing, because many times it's just you go by the feeling, the instinct that you feel like this pacing is good, but you always have to double check and question yourself that is this pacing too slow, is this too fast, and yeah, it's hard to make a decision just like that. But I would say that it's something probably you get used to the more you do. So with practice you can get a better sense of pacing.
Torian Clayton, I'm sorry, and that's good. Also, I am male. For the future, love the art, and I am working on a story and am finding it harder and harder to draw and write. Do you have any ideas on how to break through?
just do it. If you have ideas, everyone has ideas. That's not enough. No one will get anywhere just by having ideas. You actually need to start deliver your ideas. Just start doing it. Just start scribbling down your ideas, put them down on paper, start coming up with designs. Just start it. That's literally, I know it's probably not the answer everyone expects, but yes, just do it. And I'm now doing the flexing of Shia LaBeouf. Maybe next time we include the camera here. But literally, that's the best advice I can give. That you need to start. Don't just dwell on your ideas. Start actually putting your ideas down on paper.
Unknown, you just revealed your new title on live stream. Most times when this happens the next day, there's a whole manga on that new title. Hopefully not.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, some people are obsessed with copyrights and things like that. I'm not, because I know what I want to do with my story. I know it's my story. You heard it first. And, even if someone comes up with a title, then whatever, I still can do the story. I can come up with other title ideas. I'm not afraid, because I have confidence that this is my story because only I can tell it. So if everyone wants to steal my ideas, wants to steal my titles, then so be it. I'm up for the challenge, because I know that I still can do justice to the story I want to tell, and I think that's the important part. So right now I'm adding the poison effect, and at the moment I'm just laying down the base purple, but I will go in later on with some more colors. I probably will use some more brushes, because this will be a little bit tricky, because I want to give it a liquidy feeling, but at the same time there will be like acid gas, so I had to draw like two substances. Of course, with the line art I already indicated that her fingers are kind of melting down that poisony thing, so that won't be an issue. It's just coloring liquids can be tricky.
Zafe Illustrations. If you could change something about Saigami before you began the story, what would it or they be?
Well, I probably would do the pacing of the first chapter a bit faster. And I probably would change Ayumi's name so Frederick wouldn't bug me about it. Yeah. So it's like I said, it will be part of the story, but it had given me some trouble. The fact that I have a Japanese name for a character who's not looking Japanese. So keep that in mind, don't make my mistakes, although I don't consider it as a mistake, but things would be easier if it would be different. But it's not like I can just change things right now, because people already know Ayumi as Ayumi, so I can just start calling her Amy or Ashley from the next day, just because. So yeah, I kind of wish that we had that conversation earlier on. We did not. I think both Frederick and I do regret that now. But Saigami is not perfect. The first two volumes are not perfect, but still, at that moment that was my best, and I still feel like I know I gave my best. So I just won't be glooming over that oh yeah, now I could do better. Of course now I can do better, but I wouldn't be here if I hadn't done those parts. So it basically comes down to a circle or a catch of 22 or something. Okay, now I'm getting real lost with my thoughts. Can you turn on the lights? So yeah, there are many creators who just get stuck because they are just redrawing their first chapters. and that's not the approach you want to do. Of course, you always will have things that you will want to change later on, or you feel like now I can do better, and that's natural. But you got to move on.
Sanchez Knights, do you have to be a writer or a comic artist to start making one?
Well, you don't have to be a professional. You just need to want to do it. You need to do your proper research, know how and what to do it, and you can just start. I mean, no one starts out as a professional comic artist. Like, none of our creators were professional or anything. So that doesn't should hold you back.
Savage Bear Arts, was there a series that you've read or watched and saw great potential in, and later down the road it turned out bland or overall bad?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of series like that, and right now it's kind of hard to remember. I really wish that Sword Art Online would have been better, because I like the premise. I like the first arc of Sword Art, even with all of its silly things. So yeah, that would have been nice. Apart from that, shoot, I'm having a hard time remembering now stuff. Yeah, I really can't remember anything at the moment. But yeah, that was a feeling I often had, or I just started reading a series, or watched the first episode and was hoping that it will be more. Heck, Radiant. I was hoping that Radiant will be better. But it just did not live up to my expectations the way I wished it would. So yeah, it happens. I guess it also comes down that what do you expect from a series, what expectations you're going in with. And yeah, what you can see right now is I'm basically just experimenting with this fancy new brushes, and I have no idea what I'm doing, but I keep talking and doing. So yeah, it happens a lot of times. Or there are series that I really like, but it just takes a turn that I'm not into this anymore. Like, heck, Attack on Titan. I don't really like where the story is going currently. Especially since I was unfortunate enough to see some nasty spoilers for the next chapter, which I hate, because why the heck are people posting spoiler images before it's even official release? So yeah, it's at least give a warning that I'm gonna post spoilers or something. So I'm really not happy with that. But yeah, on the other hand, there were series that I did not really like at first, but then I get hooked on it, and it surpassed all of my expectations. And this is the brush I was looking for. I knew that I had something like this. What I'm using right now is a Running Color Edge watercolor, fancy name, but it exactly has that misty feeling that I was looking for. I probably will bring in some cloud brushes. I think I'm supposed to have some cloud brushes.
Zaif Illustrations, if Saigami had a live action, who would you cast to play your main characters?
That's a good one. Well, the problem is that I don't really know any child actors at the moment, because they would need to be teenagers. That's a very good question. anyone any idea who would be a good cast? Yeah, I really don't know. I'm not that much into actors and actresses, so I'm having a hard time even just remembering anything recent with younger actors. Like, yeah, like sure, I watched Game of Thrones. They had some young actors, but please no. like I know that sure Sophie Turner has the right hair color, but no, we're not going there. Yeah, I really don't know, actually.
Sanchez Knight, do you think comics or comic creators with a political agenda are free from criticism? Love your work so much in Saturday AM.
Politics are always tricky. Like, there's that saying that if you want to keep your friends, don't talk about politics or something like that.
Three things you never talk about your friends: politics, religion, money.
Yeah, there's that. So politics is a very tricky thing to include into your stories. It all comes down to execution, though, because you can see many novas even aimed at younger audiences that are heavily relying on politics. For example, one of my favorite series is Hunger Games. It is heavily relying on politics and how politicians and politics can use the media and propaganda. And that was actually a part I absolutely loved in Hunger Games, because as a Hungarian, I'm very familiar to propaganda and fear politics and things like that. And as a matter of fact, in that aspect, I will have some political aspects in Saigami as well, that are basically coming from the fact that I'm a Hungarian and I was always surrounded by things like that. So as long as it's a subtle something that is part of your story, and it's not just a straight up political propaganda in your story, then I think it can be fine. There probably will always be people who judge, but as long as it's for the story and the story is the main focus and not the political agenda, then I think that should be fine. So yeah, now I'm very tempted to include something with Trump, but I'm just gonna skip that. So yeah, if you do it the smart way, then it can be a vital part of a story. And there will always be people who will provide you with criticism and judgment, so you can't really avoid that. But if you can do it the smart way, then it can make things easier at least.
Zaif Illustrations, comics, yes or nah?
I'm drawing comics, so I know what you mean. Basically, you're talking about Western comics. I'm not reading Western comics, to be honest. I never really was into them. I never really had access to them that much because we didn't have many comics in Hungary, or I did not have access to them. So I'm a manga girl in the first place, or manga lover. But at the same time, I just prefer to. Okay, I'm supposed to read that. I'm looking at a volume of Saga right now, and I know that's something I'm supposed to be reading, so I probably will read that. So yeah, there are comics that I would want to read. Heck, I own Svetlana Chmakova's books, Brave, Crush, and the third one, I can't remember, Awkward. And I love those books, even though they are aimed at younger audiences. And Svetlana earlier was working on manga inspired series like Dramacon, which is one of my favorite Western manga. But her new books are more comic like, so I absolutely love those. So yeah, I probably will never get into Marvel or DC because I kind of feel like they are impossible to catch up to. and I always prefer the visual presentation of manga and anime. But if it's something good I can have access to, I'm gonna read comics, yes, and I keep drawing comics.
Savage Bear Arts, yeah, Attack on Titan. I wanted to get into it, then I saw the way Season 2 looked, and it just took away the entire premise the series had.
I think season 2 was still alright. It wasn't as good as the first season, but yeah, I think the earlier parts of Attack on Titan were its peak and its prime.
Grimheim, Attack on Titan is my life, but I totally get your point. I sometimes miss the old Attack on Titan. I think you get what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel the same.
Sanchez Knights, sorry if my question brought up some bad memories or feelings. Thank you for your answer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, yeah, politics is something that surrounds us. So you know, it's not like I can just do the ostrich trick and just bury my face in the sand and not notice anything around us. But you know, you also have to keep in mind that many are using comics as escapism. So you know, you don't necessarily want to include politics because sometimes you're just running away from the reality, including politics. Of course, for some stories it works. Like I mentioned, Hunger Games. Heck, Attack on Titan is very heavily into politics right now, and you know, although I don't necessarily enjoy it, I know what the creator is doing. I understand what he's aiming for and what his inspiration is. It's just, you know, we're not into Attack on Titan for that thing. So yeah.
A normal human in a big earth. No anime.
Okay. Actually, what I'm gonna do is... yeah. So what I did right now is I have this purple poison layer of mine here, and I moved it on top of the line art. So, you know, these are my line art. So I have the color on top of her hands, because earlier I had it underneath the layer, but I want this gooey feeling to feel like it's actually on top of her hands. So yeah, that's what I'm aiming for here. And you know, it's starting to shape up this gooey thing, so I probably will add some glow to it. I'm just gonna experiment with that because, you know, whenever I'm trying to add the glow effect, I never know where it is going. But oh yeah, this can look interesting. And we're going for the gooey effect.
Sanchez Knights, do you prefer traditional or digital art?
I used to be traditional, and now I'm a digital. I did prefer traditional for a long time, but right now I'm just so much into digital, both with coloring, both with comic creation, because it's just easier to do. I'm not saying that, you know, the computer is drawing in my place. I still have to do the grinding through every page. I still have to sketch everything, ink everything, do the screen tones. So the work is still the same, but it's less stressful. It's even cheaper, way cheaper, because I don't have to spend money on paper, ink, and nibs and all that mumbo jumbo. But you know, it's just good to know that I can make corrections easier. So it's just I'm enjoying digital so much.
Sanchez Knight. Oh, okay, thank you. OG list. What would you do if your manga was in a video game? Lol, I think that would be... Oh, no. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. I mean, you know, I'm not really a gamer girl, but, you know, I like video games. So yeah, you know, a game adaptation like that, yeah, that would be cool. And, you know, there are things in progress, so yeah. Of course, I can't say anything for now, but yeah, Saturday has his game plans for the future, I guess. So stay tuned. It's starting to shape up. Bringing some darker colors.
Zaif illustrations on an average pace. How long does it take popping out an entire chapter?
It really depends on my overall schedule because, you know, I'm focusing on installments and not on chapters because, you know, we're not publishing full chapters usually on Saturday AM, so usually I'm focusing on 7 to 14 pages. You know, sometimes I can finish them up pretty fast, like, you know, I can finish up an installment in like 2 weeks. Sometimes it will take me a month. So finishing up a chapter always comes down to my game plan on how many issues I plan to appear in, what other tasks I have to take care of. So yeah, it's always depends on the situation.
Unknown. What happened to the Saturday AM game?
I'm not sure how much I can talk about it. There were some issues with the developer, so right now we're with a different developer as far as I know. But yeah, that's more of a confidential thing. So just stay tuned. We will reveal things as we go. So yeah.
Sanchez Knight, do you believe that even when wrong, the customer is always right?
No. As someone who worked in the hotel industry, I hate that. And you know, it's not true because there were so many times while I was working at the hotel where someone tried to screw us over, and you know, sure, the customer is supposed to be right, but that doesn't mean that you're losing the fact that you're a human and he's a human, she's a human. You're equals. Just because you're providing service, it doesn't mean that the person owns you. So, of course, you know, it depends on the situation. There are things where you just can't have, but yeah, sure, the customer has to be right. We just gotta take the bullet. But at the same time, there were just cases where you just need to stand up for yourself or for the company and you know, just just not accept that the customer is always right, because the customer is not always right.
Sanchez Knights, capitalism, am I right? Ricardo Duran, the customer is always right. I honestly would kick whoever says that out of my store.
I agree. like the people who usually tell that are people who are taking advantages of that. Because there will be scenes where the customer has problems and you just have to help, because there will be cases where it's a justified thing. But more often than not, it's just some asshole trying to take advantages of you.
Zaif Illustrations. When will y'all be announcing the new and exciting games Saturday AM has in plans for the future of the company? #anime TV shows.
Well, we are not in any sort of rush. I know that everyone is talking about anime and games, but you need to understand that those are very, very expensive to produce. And when we're doing them, we're gonna do them the right way. Sure, we could start a Kickstarter to get a 10-minute teaser for Apple Black, Saigami, or any anime, but that's just bullcrap. Like, that's not what our company is standing for. We have a professional business plan, so we're not chasing daydreams of anime and games, because we understand it very well that it's something very expensive, and sure, you can get a cheaper solution, but that will be crap, and no one wants to have crap. So we've seen so many people who are trying to copy us, and they are chasing anime and things like that, and this is just ridiculous in the end, because we know what we're doing, and we're not in any rush. We're focusing on delivering our issues, or books, working on retail plans and everything, and that's the important part, because in the end we are producing results and not just chasing daydreams, or just chasing it. We have the first anime and things like that. That's just bullcrap. That's fanboyism. So we will announce these things when it's time for them. But right now it's not the time just yet, because we have other plans, other important tasks to pull off. And that's how we always did things. We're now in our 5th year. We delivered over 100 issues, and we're making steady progress, even if it's small steps, or it's still progress, and we're still around, stronger than ever. I'm gonna add some purples to her skin. I'm creating a new layer because I kind of want this to be on top of everything. It's more of a rim light effect, I guess, coming from this poisonous gas thing. Okay, I might even add like a full-on purple glow to our hand.
Sanchez Knights, I know what you mean about the customer. I work in engineering. Sometimes you can't make a part even if the customer thinks you can. But I respectfully disagree with you. The customer pays your bills.
That's true. And I guess in different industries it's a different thing. Of course, it will be different in a retail store. It will be different in engineering. It will be different in hotel industries. I'm only talking based on my own experience. So when the customer is basically just trying to rip you off, that he's trying to come up with some lame excuse in order to get a reduced bill on the service that he actually took, then I stand up to disagree with that customer. But then again, it's something that highly depends on what industry you're in, and I absolutely understand that there are workplaces where you just can't do that. I know. I mean, I had workplaces where it was a rule. I worked in a pizza restaurant, and yeah, the customer was always right, even though when they weren't. So yeah, I absolutely understand where you're coming from, and yeah. It highly depends on the situation. Luckily, in the hotel where I was working, my boss had an understanding that even though, yes, we are for the guests, we are providing a service for the guests because the guest is paying for us, it doesn't mean that the guest is always right. Especially when the guest is taking heavy advantages on you, or when the guest tries to harass you or one of your coworkers, then the guest is not right.
Oh, Ricardo Duran. Yeah, working in a grocery store more often than not. Those who say the customer is always right, they are usually trying to get something for free or just want attention.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree to that.
Zave Illustrations. Do you one day plan on publishing an art book compilation of all your artworks?
That would be cool. Once again, I'm not that confident with my color works, and I probably will have to work on a lot more color artworks in order to put together a book. But yeah, that sounds like a super fun idea. So
Sanchez Knights. Shout out from a fan from Chicago, by the way. Been a fan for a while now. Please would love an art book of your work.
Thank you. And yeah, Chicago. I've been to Chicago. It was a nice city. At least the airport was nice and the hotel was nice. That's all I've seen from Chicago.
Wasn't the con in Chicago?
It was, but our hotel was basically the location to the convention. So through the hotel we could reach the convention. So all I've seen from Chicago was the airport, the road from the airport to the hotel, the convention arena, and we went to a McDonald's and to a fish fillet, or not fish fillet, Chick-fil-A, I think it was. So that was all I've seen from Chicago, but that was nice. So yeah, art books. If I have enough artwork to publish something like that, that certainly would be an interesting idea. I just need to work on more stuff because, if I'm putting together an art book, then I want to bring my A game for that, because I have some early works that are not so good, and I improved a lot, so yeah, and now I'm kind of contradicting myself here with you don't need to aim for perfection, mambo jumbo, but still,
Sanchez Knights. Wizard World was in Chicago.
Oh yeah.
Roro, don't know if this is too personal or rude, but does YouTube do well for you in terms of money?
Not really, to be honest. So sure, I'm receiving some very small revenue from YouTube. But you have to be really big in order to make a decent amount of money from YouTube. And even though I have now around 12,000 subscribers, what matters is the number of minutes viewed. So my videos usually don't receive that many views. Some of my tutorials do very well, but a usual video only does a few hundred views. So that's not something you can make a livelihood on. So actually, yeah, if I'm giving you the honest talk here, uh, part of doing this live stream is that it's actually working better for me because it provides more view minutes actually than just shorter videos, and I don't have to put in that much effort because editing a video takes a day, and uploading takes a lot of time and things like that. So yeah, YouTube is a tricky thing. It's definitely not something that's my priority, because my priority is always creating manga at Saturday AM. But YouTube is still a fun platform where I can extend my audience and I can communicate with you guys. So that's super fun. Uh, but it's not providing a decent financial support.
Sanchez Knights, you need to upload more to get bigger and often.
Yeah, but once again, since I'm primarily a comic artist and not a YouTuber, that's hard to commit to. So it's now, which hand do I bite? Do I create more videos but create less comics? That obviously I can do because I'm working for Saturday AM. Saturday AM has to be my priority. So what I'm basically doing is that, yeah, my YouTube videos are falling behind a bit. I still try to do my best as much as I can, but I can't commit to be a full YouTuber. And you see people on YouTube who are doing videos like crazy, a lot of videos, a lot of content, but they still rely on Patreon because even for them, YouTube is not paying off that much. So it's just hard to do YouTube like that, and no wonder everyone relies on Patreon. Like, I do rely on Patreon. I have a better income from Patreon than from YouTube. So it's a tricky thing. You can't just really focus on one thing. You have to do multiple things, but after a while you have to choose your priorities. And to be blunt, YouTube is not my priority, because sure, it's a platform I enjoy a lot. I really enjoy communicating with you guys, but YouTube won't have me to finish and publish my books. Saturday AM does. And my goal is not to be a YouTuber on long term. My goal is Saturday AM, to make Saturday AM the best it can be, to make sure that it's the brand that can actually take on Viz, Shueisha, Marvel, and all the companies. So yeah, that's it for me. So you will never see me become a full-time YouTuber or anything like that.
Savage Bear Arts. I recently finished reading Volume 1. I really enjoyed it, along with the small sections where you discuss the pros and cons of your characters and the appearances of the main three over the years.
Thank you. I'm really happy you did enjoy that.
Sanchez Knights. Do you care where your fans align politically, or is the positive interactions mean more to you than who they voted for?
It's absolutely just the positive interaction. Like, I don't care. It is not something that defines who you are. Not just politics, anything basically. Not religion, not where you're from. It does not matter to me. It's not like oh, if you voted for that, I don't want you to be my fan. You don't deserve to read my series. That's bullshit. Like that's not my goal. I want to create series that everyone can enjoy, that can inspire everyone, that everyone can relate to, regardless of where do they belong in any phase of their lives, or that's not something I'm aiming for. So yeah, it does not matter to me. Nope, it's still too dark. switching layers here because this just doesn't want to blend as I want it. There we go. That's the color I was aiming for. Shaping up nicely.
Zaif Illustrations, you should do an office tour. I don't know if you can do a tour of a corner.
Yeah, it's just a corner, so it's not an office. And yeah, you know, sure, maybe. I might show you around in the future after I cleaned up. Because this corner is probably the messiest in the whole apartment. No, yours is. Look at those cables. At least I don't have that many cables.
You practically trip on the cables here.
Because we have the modem here. I did not ask for that. I mean, yes, I did ask for
the Ethernet is going away. I got the router to work. So if you're counting the Ethernet, stop.
So eventually we will do an office tour.
Just take a picture.
Yeah, probably it will be just a picture. Because, yeah. So basically I'm almost done with this picture. I will do some more tweakings on this probably. But yeah, since it's kind of getting late, we've been going on for more than 2 hours now. I am pretty sure that I'm just gonna finish this up off screen. I need to take a break anyway because this kind of hurts as well. So once again, this is a commission for Savage Beer Art. Oh, we have a few more comments. So I'm first gonna go through the comments. So, so let's see those comments. Where are the comments?
Sanchez Knights. Thank you for your response. I wish Frederick had the same view instead of labeling a fan and paying customer alt-right for no reason. Is there a way to get the Kickstarter version of Saigami? I missed it and wanted to know if it would be available.
For starters, the books will be available for Kickstarter supporters. There are plans for those books as well, but I can't say anything about them right now because, yeah. We will reveal more information about the perfect editions later on. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, so once again, this was a commission for Savage Beer Art. Once again, I'm open for commissions. Currently now you can get them at reduced price. You can read Saigami on Saturday homepage. Issue 101 is out. March Art Madness will start soon. Now I'm just doing an info commercial here, but you can find every and all links in my profile. The Gumroad story is not in my YouTube profile just yet. I think I posted it on the community page, but if you go to my Instagram, then you can get all of the links. I also will upload this picture on Instagram, I guess, if I get the permission from Savage Beer Arts to upload it on my Instagram, then I will post the finished version. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I can see now a bunch of new comments. You read that. Okay, I'm not sure what language is that. I would guess it's like Finnish or I don't know. It's I don't know what language we got there. So KBF, when is Saigami Volume 3 coming out? We don't have a set date yet, sometime by the end of this year for sure. And would you recommend digital traditional for... I recommend whatever you feel most comfortable with. I was traditional for a very, very long time. I've been recommending traditional a very, very long time, but right now I'm so much into digital that I'm recommending digital. It's just easier, cheaper, it can be more comfortable, but it depends on the individual. So whichever you feel most comfortable with. You can even go for a mixed media that you can sketch your pages, sync your pages traditionally, and then do the rest digitally. It's all up to you. No, I don't watch Super Sentai. I'm not even sure what it is. It's an anime, right?
I've got a translation for that Finnish comment, but I'm not familiar with. Oh, Super Sentai is Power Rangers, isn't it?
I think so, yeah, or something like that.
Haven't watched it since I was a kid.
So what did Finnish come? Was it Finnish, really?
Well, apparently, according to Google, it was Finnish. One second, I want to try something.
I nailed it. I'm good.
Oh, I got this one. That's why. Oh, it's Power Rangers, isn't it?
What are you doing?
I am forgetting that there is a leg between YouTube and us.
Well, anyway, please, if you comment in the language that I can understand. So, English, Hungarian, and German all welcomed, but the rest I can translate.
Okay, let's try this one more time. Which, according to Google, translates to use your brain if you got them, and then do the following drawing.
That sounds like an interesting advice. So yeah, I think that's it for the comments. So once again, thank you very much for joining me today, guys. I had a blast. I hope you enjoyed this live coloring video, and hopefully you could learn from it as well. And I will be back with some more videos, possibly more live streams than edited videos once again, because it's, yeah, I'm trying to transition to more of a live interaction channel here. But yeah, all of the information, all of the links down below, and yeah, check out Saturday AM tonight because we're revealing the March Art Madness entrance, and the tournament begins on next week, so it will be super exciting. So thank you very much for watching this, and I see you soon.